Welcome back to Harmony Yoga. Welcome back to your mat. I'm Julie Farmer, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the difference between being a host and being a hostage. I never really realized those two words were so similar. To be a host to God or a hostage to your ego. I think we can all ask ourselves the question, how are we projecting ourselves out into the world as a bright light, bringing love and peace and forgiveness to others? Or are we stuck in being a hostage to our ego, where we are bitter, we're angry, we're holding on to grudges, and we're feeling ourselves a little locked up? This morning I read something that said, I want to declare an open door policy of the heart. It gets wearisome scrutinizing everyone through the peephole before sliding the deadbolt free. That's by Mark Ian Vanish, and he says, you know, this idea that it takes time, right, to peek through and see, is this really who I want to let in? Or what if you just have this open door policy, right, where we just love, that is kind of our preset mode, where we're constantly in the state of forgiveness and trying to find the peace and equanimity between our neighbors and our world. So today we want to embody this idea of trying to become a host to good things, a host to God. Jesus says with God all things are possible. So whatever religious tradition you come from, we know that love is really the message, right? Through Buddhism and in any of the ancient teachings, it's all about love. And so today I want you to be able to connect with the heart. We come from that place of love. And when we first love ourselves, we can more freely love others. So consider, as you sit up nice and tall and start to take in those deep breaths, bringing in that love and compassion and kindness for yourself, and then exhaling, imagining we can share that just right here and right now from our meditation cushion, that we can offer our world a little more peace, a little more love, a little more compassion. And without any kind of judgment, just start to notice when you start to think, am I really a host, or am I held hostage by my ego, that need to be right, that need to look for differences, that need to other people, where people are different from me, I can other them to make myself feel more safe. When we start to release the need to be right and release the need for that certitude, that's a journey. Releasing the need to be certain about anything, we find we come more from a place of peace and love. So just questioning yourself, and without any, like I said, any kind of judgment, we just let that go. And maybe you start to find the breath is a little more free. And then you'll notice it doesn't take quite so much effort to be scrutinizing and othering and holding on to grudges. If you wake up in the morning trying to remember who you're mad at, it's probably time to let go of that grudge. And know the people on the other side of that grudge are worth loving. Can we become compassionately curious about other people and not be judgmental? It's the teaching of yoga, this 5,000-year-old tradition that has withstood the test of time. Allow that to enter in today into your practice. Bringing your hands to the heart and offering a prayer or offering good energy to the world that so deeply needs our love and compassion. Together, let us bow and set that intention free out into the world. Lift and open your hands and come to a standing position on your mat. Move your things off the mat. You can have your blocks handy at the front of your mat, but for right now, we're going to stand. Standing on your right leg, pick up your left knee. Move your inner thighs back, lift and open the heart. Reaching the right arm up, opening, lifting, and setting yourself free to love and expand. Good, and release. Let's go to the other side. Standing firmly now on your left leg, pick up your right, lift and open the left hand, and as you do, imagine your heart expanding, smiling, breathing deeply. Good, and release. Let's do a quick quad stretch here, standing on your right leg, pick up your left foot, Move the thighs back, scoop the tailbone, release the knee toward the earth. Again, lifting and opening the opposite arm. Draw your ribs back, expand the heart, lifting up through the crown of the head. Allow your shoulder to open here. Go ahead and release down. Going to the other side, picking up the right foot, inner thighs back, scoop the tailbone, lift and open the heart. Move the knee down toward the earth, allow the shoulder to open, draw the ribs back and scoop the tailbone. You find a little deeper release there. Good, so releasing the cage that we sometimes can find ourselves in when we become a hostage of our ego, we can start to feel that cage around our body too. So as if I've given you the key, unlock the door, open yourselves, find that freedom. And let's come into a gentle twist here by lifting and opening, turning and looking over to the left and reach the arms halfway down on the exhale. Inhale, turn all the way over to the right and let the arms come halfway down. And let's do that to the other side. Lifting up, holding the breath. Exhale, hands down. Good, inhale up one last time here. And then I'm going to move into another little twist that is really freeing for the heart. Coming back to the center now. Bring your right hand to the heart and reach the left hand behind you. Good, and come back. Inhale, hand to the heart. Exhale, other hand opens, turn and look back at that hand. And do that again. Inhale forward, exhale back. Push the hand into the heart, or to the heart into the hand, and the hand back into the heart, yeah. And feel that expansion through there. When we start to move the body in that way, the spirit almost can't help itself but to join you in the body. So here we are, open and flowing with the breath, inhaling forward, exhaling back one more time. Good, and come back to center. This time step your feet apart, hips width, bend your knees, press into the tops of your thighs. Inhale, lift the heart forward. And exhale, round the upper back, drop the head, scoop the tailbone. Let's go back and forth here one more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, and come up. All right, come to the front of your mat. We're going to go around here for a sun salutation. Feet are parallel, hip width apart. Inhale, lift the toes. Elongate the spine, rotate the shoulders back, and then knit the ribs together. Inhale, let the arms float up on the breath. And exhale, come down to your first forward fold. Using the block, or you can even use a chair here to help bring the floor up to you. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, release down. Do that again. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Inhale and step the right leg back to deep lunge. Move your knee right above the left ankle here. Move your hips side to side. Good, and inhale, lift the head and heart forward. And exhale, start to move the hips back as you come back with your, drop your head down, look back towards your belly. And inhale forward. And exhale back. Let's do one more here. Step back to your first downward facing dog. I should probably move my things out of the way here. So you're in your first downward facing dog, spreading your fingers wide. Walk your legs out, bending one leg and then the other. Good, and then bend both knees, look up at your hands. Elongate your arms, elongate your spine, lifting the hips up when you're ready. And then bring the right foot up between your hands. Move your hips side to side. And then inhale, look forward. And exhale, look back and begin to straighten that front leg. We'll do two more times here. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. Good, and one more time forward and back. Good, and step forward, forward fold. Release the spine, the neck, and the head. And inhale, lift all the way up to the sky. Bring your hands together at the heart. Pause here, close the eyes. Begin to feel the body from the inside out. If you feel a grudge, if you've got some bitterness that's stuck in you, it may take a couple rounds to get that to release. But when we start to notice it and feel its toxicity, we can make a conscious decision to let that go. And it's simply that easy to forgive. To forgive and to let the universe work out the details, let justice be served on its own. You don't need to hold that grudge anymore, it's just harming you. So inhale, again we'll go around here. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale, lower to your forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up, and exhale, release down. This time we're going to step the left leg back to deep lunge. Come up onto your left fingertips, reach your right arm up to the sky. Scoop your outer right hip under, draw your shoulder blades together and broaden through the heart, lifting the heart even more, making that conscious decision to let yourself go. Let the hatred go, let the anger go. Finding that unity, and now reach back, step back to top of a push-up position. Pressing through all the fingertips, draw the elbows back, lower yourself down. Untuck your toes, elongate the spine, move the shoulders away from the floor, draw the shoulder blades together. Press the tops of the feet down. Push back to down dog. And this time we're going to take the right leg, lifting up toward the sky, staying here or bending the foot, pushing that leg way out toward the left. Or even coming, bringing the right foot to the floor on the left side of your mat and spinning and opening your heart this way. So flipping your dog back, coming back to your down dog. Let's go to the other side. Take your, make sure I'm not having a wardrobe malfunction here. So, all right, now you're going to take your left leg up to the sky, bend and open the leg. How are we doing? Taking that foot out to the right, bringing that foot all the way over to the right, lifting the hips, opening the heart. Feeling that freedom, that expansion, and then when you flip back, bring the left foot forward. Taking your time to get here. If you need to drop the knees down, wiggle that foot forward and then straighten the back leg. Take the left arm up to the sky, scoop your outer left hip in, draw the shoulder blades together on the back and open through the collarbones and the heart. Even audibly sighing out and letting go of any held anger or bitterness. Letting that go free. Reach your hand down, step forward, forward fold. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows to the sky. Inhale and rise. All right, so here we're going to come down onto our knees and come onto your elbows. Interlace your hands, but let the pinkies be straight. Elbows are right under the shoulders. And if you've not done this posture before, I'd say it's more important to stay in a position where you're a little less load-bearing. So let's play around here. Curl the toes under. Press the pinkies down. Press the wrist down. Press the forearm and the elbow. That might feel like a lot of work to you. Stay here. Or straighten the left leg back. If that's okay, straighten the right leg back or come to your knees again. Right? You can keep the legs straight and then release the heart to the floor. So notice the difference. If I move my heart away from the floor, it's like I've got some armor around my heart. So look out toward the front of your mat, releasing the heart, opening the heart. This is an elbow plank. So you can pause the video and stay here a minute or 2 minutes, or we can keep moving forward here. Start walking the feet in, coming to an elbow dog. Lifting the hips, maybe walking the feet in a little more. And then drop the knees down. Take a child's pose. So knees, in fact, try this with me. Bring the knees together. That's a little different than how we normally do this. And rest the belly on the thighs. Reach the hands forward. Now, it may be a little tricky to stay with the breath here. Do so anyway. And then walk the hands out to the left. Feel the tightness of the cage that our ego wants to put us in. And think about bumping up against that cage. Now the door is unlocked. The cage is dismantling. And become a host. A host for the light, a host for goodness, host for love. Come back to center. Walk the hands out to the right. Feel the length come into the whole left side body. Good. Now take the knees wide apart. Let the belly come between the thighs. Rest the forehead on the forearms or onto the floor. Good, and come up. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up onto our all fours. Bring the right knee forward. Take the shin out in a diagonal. Maybe that's your posture right here. Or you can start to walk the left leg back. See how far you can walk that leg back without tipping over, right? We don't want to stay tipped over. We want to stay upright. So that might be your posture here, or you can extend the spine forward. And again, resting your forehead on your forearms or onto the floor, or you can even use a block. You can adjust the block as you need to. Good, and walk yourself back up. We'll come back to all fours. And bring the left leg forward. Now you can also get into this position from down dog, where you can lift the leg and swing it through. Same thing, right? You notice that's the same thing. Okay, so staying hips facing forward, you're going to decide how far you want to walk that right leg back. It's a deeper stretch into the left hip. But notice I'm not tipping over here. I'm staying upright. And my hip may not come to the earth. You can always place something under that hip to make it seem like the floor has come up to you, so you can release a little better. You can also use the edge of a blanket. I'll demonstrate that for you here. So the blanket can go under there, or you can have nothing. Walking the right leg back, walking the spine forward, and then releasing the head. So if you're hanging out up here and the floor seems so far away from you, can you see the benefit of the block is bringing the floor up to you? And then you can rest the head this way. So there's no straining to get to the floor. There's no magic of coming to the floor. Just bring the floor up to you. I've even had it done where you can bring your hands up to your head, or rest the head on the forearms. You actually can stay lifted all together here. Still a nice hip stretch. Good. Come back to your knees. This time, we're going to be here with our toes curled under and our hands on our hips. Press the hands down and ground the lower half of the body And by pressing down, can you see how the spine lifts and the heart expands? So I'll do that again. I'll kind of let go, and then I'll push down. So that gives that intention of grounding, rooting down to rise. The toes are curled under. I'm going to move my inner thighs back very slightly and scoop the tailbone. So let's do that together. Move the inseams of your pants back, and then scoop the tailbone and attempt to keep this upright and connected. And then from this place, now we're going to lift and open the heart. You can keep the hands on the hips. You can inhale, reach one arm up, and exhale down, and then the other arm. So you're going to find a place here that feels comfortable for you. Or you can do both arms and then swing the arms back and find your feet. Move your pelvis forward, lift and open the heart. Again, if you're straining to reach your feet, notice it's the same posture with my hands on my hips, but it's a little safer because you're not straining to reach the earth. Of course, if you've got two blocks, you can set your blocks up so you can grab your blocks instead of your feet. It's not too much different though, if you notice, if you turn your toes under, it's about as high as your block. But that's an option too. You can place the blocks underneath your hands. Pelvis moves forward, the heart lifts, and then take the throat back, reach the head back. Don't just drop the head. And come up from the heart and sit down. Either sitting down onto your lower legs, or if that's too much on the knees, just stay in that upright position. And let's try that again. So hands to the hips, move the inner thighs back, scoop the tailbone, curl the toes under, grab your blocks if you like. I'll show you what that looks like on this posture here. So I'm gonna place, you can even keep them in your hands, or I can place them here. Okay, and then I inhale, lift the heart, reaching back, finding the blocks, pushing down into the blocks to help lift and open the heart. Good, and come up from the heart, sitting back down, or staying upright. So either way, so I'm gonna sit down onto my lower legs. If your knees aren't quite there yet, you can place a blanket. Let me show you this here. Placing a blanket right here so I can sit down. It takes a little tension off the knees. You can also sit down onto a block, and you can put that on a higher setting, and you can sit that way. So I'm gonna sit down onto my lower legs, and then interlace your hands behind you and move your knuckles down toward the earth. Long side body, rotate the shoulders back. And then inhale, start to shift your nose over to the right and push down through your fingertips and feel the length come in over here on the left side. Come back to center. Lift the nose and take it at the diagonal over to the right or to the left and push down through the hands. And maybe you feel that a little asymmetrically, so I think I'm a little tighter on one side than the other. You can even jet your chin out to get a little deeper stretch up into the neck and into the jaw. Good. Interlace your hands the opposite way, so the non-dominant finger is in front. Long side body, rotate the shoulders back. Push the knuckles down toward the earth, and one more time now, lift the nose to the diagonal. Push your knuckles down. Letting go of that tension. Good, and come back to center. Again, we're gonna push down through the knuckles and take the nose over toward the right, feeling that, or sorry, to the left, and we're feeling the stretch on the right side this time. Release. Sit your hips over to the right. Take your left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale, draw the low back in and up, lift and open the heart, and start to turn and get curious, looking over the right shoulder. So notice curious is very different than force, right? So we're not forcing ourselves over that right shoulder. We're just curious what's going on back there. Good, come back up. And then hips over to the other side. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale, draw the spine forward and up. Turning, looking over the left shoulder. Good, swinging your legs through in front of you. Push the hands into the earth behind you. And then bend your right leg. Just place it to the inside of your left leg. Take your left hand around to the outside of your right knee and push the right hand into the floor behind you. So the spine, again, tall and lifted, right? So we want to create that length. Then we can start to twist. Again, just getting curious. It's a gentle, kind, compassionate twist. We're not forcing ourselves. Move the left lung a little closer to the right thigh. And then open the knee out. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Move your hips back as you reach your hands forward, coming down anywhere you like onto your foot, the leg, the shin, the knee. Inhale, lift the head and heart forward. Exhale, sigh out, letting go. Finding the freedom and letting go. I love that idea of being a host for God, right? That's our natural, the natural state, but we get ourselves tied up in so many things that we don't know we have the freedom to let go of. How nice, yoga gives us that permission. Take the legs out in front again, push into the earth behind you, opening the heart. And bringing the left foot to the floor on the inside of the right leg. Take the right hand around to the outside of the left knee. Inhale, lift, creating that length, like you're really being pulled up through the crown of the head, and then start to turn and look over the left. So it's not unusual or unlikely that when we feel open, we feel taller, we feel more connected. And I think when we think of through the crown of the head, that's that connection to God, right? And so it's no wonder if we feel cloaked and if we feel burdened by anger or bitterness, come back to center, open the knee out to the side. We start to close in, right? We start to guard the heart. We start to get shorter and harder, right? We want to be open and flexible, pliable, lifting the arms up toward the sky and shifting the hips back, reaching the hands forward, finding your foot or your leg, your knee, the floor. Wherever you're at there is fine. Inhale, lift the head and heart forward. We're not forcing the head to the knee, right? We're reaching the head even past the foot. Think about doing that. Reaching the crown of the head forward. Inhale and rise. Bring the soles of the feet together. Press the hands into the earth behind you. And then slowly we'll come down onto our mat. I'm going to demonstrate for you a little heart opener here that you can do with your blocks, and you can do it also with your blankets. So I'll show you a couple different ways here. You can simply come down onto the floor here, or if you want to use the block, set one on one setting, the next one a little higher setting. The bottom tip of this block is going to come right to the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. Yeah, so the block itself is right under the shoulder blades, which kind of helps ground and support them, which actually opens and blossoms the heart. And then you've got support for your head, so you don't need to overdo this one. If I didn't have this, now I'd really be stretching over the block, which I could do for a few moments, but it's not going to feel super restful. This is a little more grounding so that I can relax in this posture. So see the heart opening, drawing those muscles of the back to create this cradle, this opening for the heart. So that would be one option. The other option would be to make a little roll with your blanket and place place that either sideways, and again, I'm going to come right to the bottom tips of the shoulder blades, and get my blocks out of the way here, and then bring my hands into a cactus position. And then you can decide how big that blanket roll is, so that would be one option. And the other thing you can do is place this sideways along the spine, placing it right next to the low back, laying over the blanket. Now if your blanket were a little taller, actually your head could rest on the blanket, or I could bring a block, place the block under my head. Still my arms are in this cactus position. Feet can either be in the butterfly position or can be stretched out. If I wanted to remove the block and bring my head to the floor, I could do that as well. So you've got lots of options here. So find one, and let's come to that peaceful state of Shavasana. So we've moved our body around to be able to move the energy. If you had some stuck places, perhaps just some simple motions can help unlock that. And maybe you need a longer class, so you can go onto the YouTube channel and look for one that's a little bit longer. My intention here is to make these classes intentional, make them meaningful, but not make them so long that you find you don't have time to do it. So you can stay in this position as long as you like. I'm going to start to transition so that if you need to get up, you can do that. So thinking from a higher place of awareness, I can heal. I can return to source. I can think healing thoughts. Move to this higher place. Think like God thinks, not thinking from the ego where all things are wrong, but thinking like God thinks and looking for the beauty in each other, looking for the good, and finding ways that you can reach out. So asking yourself that question, can I be a host to God and not a hostage to my ego? What thoughts do I have that don't serve me? Allow this practice to help you break out of that cycle. I've been there, right? I've been there. We've all been there. And what if we think another way just for today? Because all things are possible. Again, staying here or moving yourself into a seated position. In either case, I wish you well. I wish you blessings. I thank you for being here with me today. Go make a difference in someone's life today by forgiving, by smiling, and for being the light of the world.